Warning, warning. Two idiots are still reading the same SCP file over the intercom. Ay, caramba.
Hi guys, welcome back to Disco SCP. I'm Tanhony, this is my, well, you know us, we're the Discovering SCP guys. Anyway, how are you?
Who are you again?
What?
I don't
You're referencing your shitty anime and your crappy manga?
So, I'll have to kill you for that comment. How dare you? You better send me that link to 093 before I obliterate you.
You got nothing to say to open the episode?
Fine, you want me to say something? I guess we're continuing 093 or whatever. It's not like I wanted to, you stupid baka.
This might be the final episode of Discovering SCP if you don't change your fucking attitude.
I'm being a tsundere.
I'll kill you for it.
It's just... this insolence, this disrespect. It's not like I wanted to run a podcast with you anyways.
All this fucking way. They've been working at the chicken house all day, and now they come home to listen to Discovering SCP, and you're pulling this shit.
Is the chicken? What the fuck is the chicken house in the lore?
I don't
know. Hold on, what's the
Words
chicken
just
house?
come together in my mind.
It's where they work hard to farm chickens to raise money to rebuild.
It's where they make
Tanhony
chickens
Tower while we're on the run. So I had an idea, right?
It's a chicken factory.
We still don't. We still don't have a name for our audience.
Chickens.
And I was thinking we could. I was gonna say we could call them our little minions if they're gonna rebuild our tower and work at the chicken house.
How
What do
about
you think?
what do you think, guys? You want to be called our little minions?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear that?
All right, it's settled. Minion merch coming.
It sounded like Boris. It must be.
Yeah, that was exactly what Boris sounded like when he was on our episode 40. Oh my god, over 40 episodes ago. Holy
Back
shit!
in the before times.
Remember when we used to be in Tanhony Tower?
In what? Remember when we used to have law? Now we just sort of... I just start talking about chicken houses at the start of episodes, so we have to accept it.
Yeah! Alright, anyway, give me the link to 093 and tell me where we were again, because we gotta get this done.
We're on the violence test. Hope it's not a violence test.
Was Violet the last one we read, or is that just like the next one in line?
I'm pretty sure this is the next one in line.
Okay, because we read blue, and then I think we read green, right? Is that the order it is in?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Violet.
Violet the Magician.
Right.
Have you got it in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this bad boy?
I'm so ready.
Mirror test 3. Colour. Violet. Subject is...
Violent? You let a little bit of your energy leak out there.
I love when my malice came out there. Its object is D84930. Male, 21 years of age, average physique. So he's not like...
Oh, hey, this guy's
nothing special.
This guy's a year younger than me.
He's 4 years younger than me. Subject's background shows instance of second-degree murder of a police officer during a drug bust. Normally this crime, while severe, would not qualify a person for a sentence that would end up with us, but the murder of the officer was especially brutal, and excessive violence was used.
This one's funny to me because the judge is like, he murdered a cop? Oh, 30 years. But sir, he was so violent about it. He was giggling like an insane man. Death row.
What is this criminal's name? Chef T. Killer, sir.
That's just so funny to me because I'm not sure that how... Maybe if he was like torturing them, a torture charge, but I don't see how it would be like, oh, normally you wouldn't be in prison for life. Oh, death row because you were so cruel about it, Joker.
But never says that he was put on death row, because I guess the Foundation saw it and the news was like, we gotta get this guy as a Class D. He needs to face justice.
Well, I thought the implication of Class D where they were death row, hence the D. And
But
I thought that's what you told me in the
there's
beginning.
not that many people on death row, is the thing. We go through them too fast.
Also it's a fictional universe. Like
You're a fictional universe.
Also, if you... Wait, how many other countries have capital punishment? Because they could pull from the whole world, yeah?
I don't know. Probably. Like 10? 20?
It's like,
40.
this guy insulted the Queen
40.
of England, so go ahead.
You only get killed in England for actual treason.
What's actual treason count as? Becoming American?
Killing the Queen.
I've slain the Queen, and now I am the High King of England!
The sword of Damocles falls upon your neck, fool.
Okay, wait, we got one sentence into this, and we've been not shutting the fuck up.
Two,
Sorry, continue.
1.5. So this subject was uncooperative, and it had to be reminded that his cooperation would only benefit him. Subject entered the provided mirror while holding the SCP, which emitted a violet colour. Outside technicians observed that the mirror retained a true reflection until subject completely passed into it, at which time the view changed to a cityscape, urban, lightly tinged in purple, similar to the first test. Video feed follows in attached media. Media, like the god. No, it's not god. Like the mythological figure, Medea. Camera flickers to life and pans around the area. Subject is in what appears to be a modern downtown district, similar to a city like New York. The streets are mostly bare.
Yes, a city like New York! New York's like the most distinct city of any city. What the fuck?
The streets are mostly bare, except for a few cars of unknown make or model. These cars look highly advanced and streamlined. Cybertrucks. Subject attempts to look into the car windows without being instructed to, but backs away, remarking that there is a rank-ass stank coming from the areas around most of them.
I'm glad that was important for them to put in the file.
Subject is persuaded to move closer to one car, and does so with coughing, wiping off a window which is covered in dirt. The inside of the car appears to be completely filled with a strange brown matter. There is nothing at all visible other than the brown matter.
Ew, is that the shit car?
Welcome to New Donk City.
The Mario music starts playing.
Wahoo! Mario killed a cop in an excessively violent fashion. He stomped on him.
He just
jumped
like
on his
jumps on a car and a fucking a power moon comes up.
We get shown a clip of the excessive murder of the police officer. It's just a guy walking. He's like, wahoo! Mario jumps on his fucking head.
Yeah, it's like excessively brutal when he lands on his head. Just squashed like a pancake.
Oh no! Two other cars produce the same results. However, a fourth vehicle seems more recent than the others. What do you mean it seems more recent?
Yeah, what does that even mean?
And the insides are immaculate.
Here's the thing. If a car was more recent, like, you would be able to tell that from because these are all futuristic cars. They said. So
I was like, Darnell is more recent than me. I guess you could say.
Listen, the only way to tell would be the license plates. In which case, it wouldn't be seems. It would just be is.
It's like I don't like. I imagine you mean like the thing that happened later to this one, but it's like a really weird way of phrasing it. Because, I guess, technically you could say Darnell is more recent than me because he's younger.
Maybe they put their hand on the car and it was, still warm.
He's still breathing. And the insides are immaculate. The doors to this vehicle are unlocked, and Subject quickly gets inside and shuts the doors. Subject is chastised for this behaviour by Control, who reminds him his lifeline is nothing more than a cable, which is sturdy enough that closing the car door does not injure it, but they cannot recover a person in motion. Subject.
Also, won't the car just yank the whole rope into the portal?
You're coming with me, boys.
See you later, losers! I'm escaping! Fucking crashes into a lamppost.
Subject. Not even like a paranormal thing, just a lamppost.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, so that's how it ends. Subject died in a car crash. Wasn't looking where he was going. He was texting and driving.
Subject argues control of this issue and pans the camera across the dashboard, pointing out that he couldn't drive away, even if he tried. I'm starting to go to that weird tone again. The dashboard is void of any recognisable controls. No ignition, no steering. There are several small blank screens that are theorised to be a GPS system. Subject remains in the car while Control discusses how to proceed, since the city landscape is far larger than the previous test destinations. Control debates this issue while Subject stirs around the cityscape.
Hold on,
from the car.
did you say test destinations and then follow it with destinations?
I did.
Dude, that was a Darnell level joke.
Thank you. During one pan, a face is clearly seen staring into the car, eyes watching the subject. However, this was not noticed until post-test footage review. Subject made no comment regarding this entity at any point. Control shortly after informed Subject to remain where he is, and an escort team is dispatched through the mirror to join him. A team of four armed personnel. Personnel.
This is the first time we've seen people who aren't holding the stone go in.
Well then, yeah, right? I don't think they're not holding the stone when they go in. It's put on the mirror, and then they walk through the mirror.
Do they touch it first? I thought they were holding it on their person.
I think so.
Never mind, then. This isn't as big of a deal as I thought. I thought it was like the person was the one holding the stone.
A team of 4 armed personnel, say that as you will, is sent through the mirror and proceeds to subject's location.
Yeah, it should be 4 comma armed, but I like this better because they're each they have 4 they're alien personnel.
It's like
they're
Ben
like
10.
that alien from Ben 10. Yeah, the red one. 4 armed.
We gotta get out of here. I shouldn't have done that fucking voice. Subject
Me every time I choose a deer voice.
Subject is then instructed to remove his harness, which is recovered. The subject's video feed then ends and is replaced by a wireless unit used by the escort team.
Did you fucking casually open a super loud soda can?
Huh? That was a sound effect. That was the radio.
It was right in the fucking mic. I could barely even hear you. You're like,
That was the radio. That was the radio as part of the article. That was the radio.
I see.
The video quality of this unit is subject to more interference. But in order to mark the mirror exit, a receiver system is placed through the mirror. So Shed leaves the car and now travels with the escort team. Given the myriad of possible options, they are instructed to simply move to the closest building and attempt to enter it. This building has etched glass doors bearing the name XEA Research Partners Incorporated.
Isn't that Elon's kid?
Yeah. They predicted his child, and the doors are ajar. A magnetic lock system is present, but has lost power. Team enters the building and main lobby. This area resembles a stereotypical corporate lobby, not very original. There is a C-shaped receptionist. It doesn't say that.
You guys can try a little bit harder, alright? This is pretty stereotypical for a corporate.
The guys go this is pretty standard stuff.
The funniest thing about this is, they talked about futuristic cars or whatever, but, what looks like a typical corporate lobby changes, every 10 years.
Yeah, I could not tell you what a corporate lobby looks like.
Yeah, if you go to, a corporate lobby in California, it looks like an alien base.
The only thing that pops into my mind is the newspaper office from Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
What's it fucking called? The Daily Bugle?
Yeah, Daily Bugle. Not to be confused with every other superhero
I was going to say the Daily
newspaper,
Planet, where fucking Superman works.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, every single superhero newspaper is daily something. It's so confusing.
I was going to say the Daily Dot is a newspaper, so maybe have a look along the employees.
I have to admit, though, if you can publish a whole-ass newspaper every day, that's pretty impressive.
That's why they have Superman working for them. It's the only way.
Yeah.
A PC terminal is at the desk as well. Team approaches the desk and the camera bearer is instructed to examine the PC. The unit does appear to have power, and Faithful OS appears on the screen requesting a login and password. Incorrect password, my child. A keyboard is present.
Where are we in the article? Sorry, I dropped something and had to pick it up.
Faithful OS appears on the screen requesting a login and password.
We've seen that before, right? That was in the last one as well.
A keyboard is present, but is remarkably slim, with touch-sensitive keys rather than press-down keys. That's crazy.
I actually have a theory. I have a theory. We've seen Faithful OS. It seems like an interesting thing to put on, and we also know that these places are really strange and have to do with guilt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this might be some sort of weird-ass purgatory thing?
Who can say?
I guess you could, but don't spoil it. I guess.
Yeah. After one failed attempt, the lock screen replies that maximum attempts have been exceeded and the PC turns off. No actual...
It's a surprisingly realistic detail for the paranormal fucking computer. It's sorry, you need to contact administrator.
No actual tower or power button can be located, so team moves forward. Behind the receptionist's desk are 2 elevator doors, one to the left and one to the right, with similar touch-sense keys. The elevator on the left is broken, the door open and the shaft empty. The elevator on the the right appears functional and has power. Sorry, I got excited there. Without a clear destination, the team is instructed to proceed to the highest floor to get a lay of the city. What the fuck? They mix a lay of the land and look around the city into something.
Wait,
strange.
did the team meet up with him? Yeah, they did, right? Okay, so there's 5 of them now.
Yeah, the dream team.
Why even use a D class if you're just going to be alright, you guys stay with him and using their own guys?
You need a guilty guy to go in so you can see what he's created.
I'm sure there are plenty of people in the Foundation with guilt. I mean, just go over to the Montauk guys.
No, the thoughts and actions are utterly unclouded. They are all those of justice.
I think everyone has some kind of guilt, even if they won't admit it. Everyone has something in their past they regret.
My heart and actions are utterly unclouded, Darnell. They are all those of justice.
Okay, Jojo enemy.
Without a clear destination, the team is instructed to proceed to the highest floor to get a lay of the city. Very strange phrase. All floors appear to be accessible, with the highest being 114. In reality, 112, there's 13 and 113 are missing from the keypad. I like that detail because they do that in real life.
112 is 13?
No, they don't have 13 floors.
They do that, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
it depends on the building where it's at. It's like a superstition thing.
Yeah. Journey up the elevator is uneventful during this time. The elevator does appear to take longer as it passes by 13 and then 113, suggesting that entire floor was built and nothing put on it. At 114, the doors open and the team enters a large lounge-type area. There are many couches with dust on them. A widescreen, apparently LCD TV, or approximately 60-plus inches in size, dominates the wall in front of them with no power.
This is the funniest... Okay, this is actually the funniest part of the article, because remember in the beginning, the original version, where it, like, hyper-specifically was, like, 3.20 centimeters to plus 0.5 roundness, and now it's just like, oh, it's, like, more than 60 on the TV. It's just around that area. 60-plus.
A series of windows are open, allowing in sunlight at the far end, to which the team proceeds and angles the camera outside. The view of the city is astonishing. This building is one of the tallest visible, but certainly not alone.
Who writes this? It's like some intern that really wanted to be like an author, and he's just stuck working at the.
He really likes towers. The city below is grey and silent. No evidence of life at this altitude. Some buildings in the city have a strange brown growth that appears to be splashed against them, as if a gelatinous mass was flung in and seeps down before hardening. Other buildings have floors where the glass has been shattered, and the same brown substance is seeping out the edges. One member of the team calls the camera bearer to the windows on the other side. From the other side of the building, the city edges can be seen. Attention is
Wait, did the other guys on the team also have harnesses, or did they just, like, run in?
I guess they just came in. Attention is pointing towards an expressway that encircles the city, upon which crawls another of the large half-body humanoids, dragging itself with elastic arms as witnessed in previous tests. It travels the highway and then moves out of sight. The team returns to the elevator and notes that a button has already been activated for floor 74. No one has approached the elevator, so the team agrees to travel to this floor. Can I popcorn this to you for a little bit?
Yeah, no problem. Don't worry, I'll carry the load. Like Samwise Gamgee, I put you on my back and continue.
I can't carry the article, Mr. Tan, but I can carry you.
On the 74th floor, the doors open and reveal a waiting area to what appears to be a doctor's office. At the reception desk, there is a sign-in sheet with a series of names and dates. The dates on the sign-in sheet all carry the year 1953. A PC at the receptionist area is on and functioning at a user desktop. The background for the PC is a large set of praying hands with the word Faithful OS under them. On the desktop are a series of folders with years on them containing files that, when clicked using the center button of the mouse, open. I just love the detail. Open to a word viewer. All files appear to be appointment information. On the desk is a notepad titled "From the Desk of Dr. Boris!
Boris?
Doctor, I know it's Borziski, but it's now Boris, sorry.
It's an alias,
Dr.
obvious
Boris,
alias.
Blessed Purificationist. The door to the doctor's area is sketched with the same name and title, as well as a crucifix. Opening, this is like suddenly gone from like hinted at towards like very clearly something religious. Opening this door leads to a white dust-free hallway that has 2 examination rooms and a key-coded door at the end. The examination rooms are unremarkable and typical of any doctor's office. All medicine cabinets are empty. A small amount of C4 is placed at the lock to the key-coded door at the request of control and then blown, forcing the door open. I do want to note, it's weird to me that this article, aside from actually starting to have some plot happen, is also better formatted grammar-wise to read than the other two, but curiously has less upvotes than the other two we read, which makes me sad. The area it opens into is much larger than the reception area itself, and seems to contain a series of large containment capsules. There are a total of 6 of these capsules. 2 are broken, and a brownish amber material coats the floor coming from them. 1 is empty. The last 3 have nude humans floating in them with breathing masks. Attached to the front of these tubes are medical charts showing vital signs and conditions. For symptoms, the charts explain in somewhat awkward English ailments that seem more like... Never mind, the grammar problems are back. Ailments that seem more like flaws of personality or character, or just incidents that have occurred with the patient. This is definitely purgatory. I'm locking that in as my guess. Control asks for a zoom of one of the patients on the chart. After focusing, it reads, Citizen Jennifer McZirka did suffer a lapse of the heart that did lead her to lay with her neighbor twice upon nights of her husband's departure from their home. Patient did submit herself into the Lord's and our hands for cleansing of mind and body. Prayer administered by High Father Uwalakin, and patient submitted to a 3-day period in the Lord's tears to cleanse her system, then released in good spirits. The topmost page reads, oh, do you think that those freaky beings are experiments gone wrong, or maybe people that ate the sins? The brownish thing is definitely the sins. That's what the brownish substance is. Or the guilt, or whatever the fuck it's going to end up being. It's starting to actually get a little bit interesting here. The topmost page reads, Citizen Alberius Ferafin struck out at a high father during a sermon, blaspheming that the Lord's tears did turn his daughter to be unright in mind and heart, thusly laying blame for her whorish activities at the feet of the high father and his blessing. Yikes. With no proof of these blasphemes, the forgiving judge and the punishing judge did agree that Alberius Ferafin should bathe in the Lord's tears himself for a week to be cleansed of mind and soul. Okay, there needs to be commas in this article. Holy shit, dude.
You did mention the bully's awkward English with that specifically here.
I suppose. Daughter's ways are fault of not the father's hands, and to give him peace of self. Subject, who has been traveling quietly with the escort team, now begins to panic. The camera pans to focus on him, and he is surrounded by entities similar to those witnessed in the first 2 tests. Escort team reports that and that subject is having a panic attack, but Control requests them to stand still and wait. Hang on, sorry. Subject screams at the entities, which are denied to exist by a team commander, stating subject is alone in the corner. Control requests that one team member be dispatched to approach and recover the subject. The escort team member approaches the subject as ordered. On the video, the figures part to make a pathway for the approaching member, who lifts subject to his feet and brings him out of the corner. This is interesting, too, because in a modern article, they would just keep calling him D-class number, but I honestly like when they use subject instead. It makes sense in universe, and it also reads way better. I actually wish that was something people still did instead of D-Class 1487 says D-Class 1487. It's like, no one cares. Figures on video are then seen closing ranks to close the path. Subject is lifted to his feet by an arm and escorted through figures that close their ranks when the subject is moved. They remain steadfastly staring at the subject no matter where he moves to. Control requests the team to return now. Team turns to leave. Before leaving, a team member mentions... See, this one needs... They can't use the same excuse of broken English. This is just the tale being written. Or the article, rather. And there needs to be commas, damn it. Before leaving, a team member mentions something noticed at the reception desk, a binder labeled The Lord's Tears. Control requests the binder be returned as well, and it is stowed in the subject's field kit. The team returns to the elevator and returns to the ground floor. Oh my god. There's too many returns! Upon leaving the building, subject points down the street toward direction of entry point. The camera pans to a section of raised expressway. Expressway.
No. Yeah.
Across which one of the large torsos is crawling slowly. The entity turns its featureless head to look at the escort team, raises its head to the sky, and emits a bellowing sound. Team leader issues the order to move, heading for the spot marked by the wireless video receiver. The creature on the expressway extends an arm down that stretches to touch the ground before the camera moves to the port. All team members, save one, move through entry point. Subject moves through entry point, and mirror returns to reflective surface. SCP-093 is dropped by subject. See, he does have it!
Oh, yes, you're right.
Yeah,
as long as someone inside has it.
Yeah, because I was like, those people entered and they're not holding it, which is interesting. Yeah, because I thought they mentioned that. And tries to fight his way out of the room. Subject is terminated by team leader after he draws the field kit pistol. Team leader requests portal be reopened, but it takes several minutes to find someone who can hold SCP-093 and generate a similar color. When a matching color is displayed and applied to the mirror, the video receiver is visible and all individuals report a horrific smell. Team leader moves through the entryway with control person blank. The uniform and possessions of the escort team member who was left behind are present and recovered, but the member himself is nowhere to be seen and does not respond to shouts. Member assumed killed in action and wireless receiver recovered. Control and escort return through entry point and mirror returns to reflective surface. Later review of the recovered camera shows escort member blank grasping at the air where entry point should be, and then turning to look up at the oversized torso. A brown gel seems to drip off the creature as it moves, that disappears shortly after being dislodged as if evaporate. This really needs commas, bro. Several shots are fired at the creature's face with the automatic weapon, carried by blank, that land in the face of the creature, causing a spray of less viscous brown liquid to pour forth from the wounds. Blank screams obscenities at the face of the creature as the face of the creature descends upon him, and the camera is pushed to the ground. Camera feed remains dark for approximately 65 seconds before light comes back and the camera films the creature crawling back to the expressway and pulling itself onto it, then crawling in the direction it was originally headed. Blank believed to have been absorbed by the creature and perhaps digested. This may have been an example of how these unknown entities feed by direct contact with oh my god, they're like pillarmen, with living material. Further study is recommended to be avoided on this issue. Return to ledger filed as blank. Wow, that was... We still have 2 more of these fuckers.
I did look ahead. These are much shorter.
Thank God. Okay. I'll leave this one to you then.
Have you got the next one there?
Yeah, color yellow.
Peace. D-class subjects no longer authorized for testing.
Wow, that callback's from over a year ago.
Testing focus has been shifted to data collection after analysing the articles brought back from the previous 3 tests to better understand the fate of the world accessed by 093 and determine if safeguards or practices are required for our own world. Analysis of the brown fluid on the clothing of the lost escort team member... Boris. No, it's not Boris. It fits, the letters fit, but we've already done Boris once. Tanho has been filed with other recovered articles. That's another fucking guy who was also Dr.
I really love their redacteds in Series 1. Why do you need to redact a guy that's, like, killed in action? Who cares?
Dr. Blaine has volunteered for this test, as out of the possible candidates, he was able to cause the SCP to undergo a new colour change. There is no evidence in Dr. Blaine's background of any illegal or criminal behaviour, nor of any psychological problems. When presented to the mirror, the view changed to that of a cubicle office environment. For this test, Dr. Blaine opted to use the wireless video system and forego the pulley return system, stating he was confident he would be safe, as none of the torso creatures had been witnessed within a building where the mirror's destination showed. Video feed commences after Dr. Blaine has crossed the mirror.
I would like to say, if you know these things enter worlds where there's giant monsters, even if you haven't seen any yet, would you really want to take that fucking chance? What guy would be like, oh yeah, the world filled with monsters where people have been dying? It'll be fine, I'm spawning in a building this time.
Okay, here's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to walk in, I'm going to stand by the entrance, and you're going to send Samsara in, and I'll wait for them to come back.
It reads with all the casualness of, like, a really lazy student.
As with prior tests, the SCP's current colour, yellow, tinges all video material. Camera flickers to life and pans across a series of plain white cubicle constructs. Approximately 30 of it. Well, hey, this is my workplace. At the far end from the point of entry is an office module.
You're in purgatory.
Built into the wall with frosted glass walls and a glass door. A grass door. What would that look like?
It would look like... actually, that'd be kind of cool. All right, here, yeah, it's a door frame, and it's like those really long blades of grass that are like exotic, hangs from the top, and you like push through it. Like, you know those doors that are like just a bunch of strands, and you kind of put your arm through it, and you... It'd be like that.
I was picturing grass. More like a plot of land sideways. Grass growing out.
It's just like, it's made of dirt with grass on it, and you have to like push into the... it swings open.
Dr. Blade approaches this door and investigates the etched writing on it. Senior Manager, Stanley Millimitz. That's a funny name.
That name! It's that man!
Stanley wanted to go to the Senior Manager's room. He opened the door and walked down the hallway. Well, Stanley Parallel.
Oh.
The door is unlocked. Dr. Blade enters the office and examines the desk. A coffee cup is on the desk, a dark brown stain covering half of the inside as the liquid evaporated. There is a donut on a plate, which Dr. Blaine picks up and lobs at a wall. On impact, it thumps like a rock and falls.
Why would he... Dude, this guy literally does not give a fuck about any procedure.
He's like a protagonist in, like fucking Stanley Powers.
I know, like, every article, the doctor's like, we don't touch anything, we don't fuck with anything, we go careful. This guy's like, I don't need a harness, don't it? Boom! Yeah, he's like the guy that's, like, overly cocky and he's about to get fucked by some eldritch thing. It's like that American military guy in every movie who's like, I don't care about the consequences, we're gonna nuke it, damn it! What's the worst that could happen?
They can't do this. They don't understand our way of life. Well, I'm going to make them understand.
Yeah, they'll understand my lead. Get them, boys!
A file cabinet in the corner of the room draws Dr. Blaine's attention, and he goes through each shelf one at a time, stopping in the second drawer and taking out a file, then going back to the first and taking out two others. Continuing to the third and fourth drawers, he withdraws 4 additional files and spreads them out all over the desk. The files are blue filing folders, and he points with his finger and camera a symbol on each of praying hands, stating aloud for the camera that all other files are stored in yellow folders. The blue folders are placed in his field kit. What happens next? Find out. Camera attention is turned to the PC on the desk that is logged in and functional. Dr. What?
You're just like, let's find out what happens next.
I had to catch my breath. I wanted to disguise it.
Do you want me to popcorn for a bit?
No, you just done one.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Blaine comments aloud, wondering where these devices are getting their power from, as he has noticed no power outlets. This PC's desktop contains the
I love how they're entering the magical mirror world with eldritch creatures, and they're like, well, this computer's not plugged in? Also, last time they found out the computers don't even have fucking towers.
The PC's desktop contains the logo of Faithful OS, and even has sounds! Clicks of the mouse, followed by soft hymn-like hums, and opening of icons followed by angelic bells.
It's just the fucking Halo song plays when you're on the PC.
Every time you click. Every time you click and it goes over itself.
You open Internet Explorer, it's like da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
No, I mean, like, every time you click it starts that audio file and they go and they don't stop when the new one starts.
Oh, it's like when you do the have you ever been on that site that does the dwarf thing from Hearthstone and you keep clicking and it like overlaps?
Yeah.
I can see it by the hearth.
The VC fails to yield any useful information to Dr. Blaine, who abandons it and leaves the office.
For a guy who has no psychological issues, he sure does have an attitude.
Approaching the other end of the office floor, but this fucking guy, Dr. Blaine, presses a button on the wall for the elevator, and just phrases it like he's out of control, and enters, finding out he's on the 34th floor of a building having an unusual number scheme.
This guy is Blaine Darkblade or whatever. What was that guy's name? Darkblade, the SCP you showed me? Is that him?
No, this guy is fucked. The keypad layout goes from negative 115 to 115 and includes all floors. Before pressing
even the 13s?
Before pressing a floor button, Dr. Blaine requests that the wireless video transponder be moved to the elevator and replaced with a construction code to mark the entry point. This fucking asshole. A second transponder unit is placed outside the elevator, and Control is instructed to recover the second unit and seal the test chamber should something happen to him. When all is arranged, he presses the button for floor negative 115.
Okay, they've said this guy has no issues, he has no guilt, but he's like, I don't want to follow procedure. I'm gonna throw a donut against the wall. Also, I don't know what's out there. Lock me in. I'll deal with whatever comes. He's like a fucking anime pro tag, but not in the cool way. He's not cool like Abel. He's just like annoying.
Like one of the half figures like swipes the hand out. He's like, "I got him. Oh, he wasn't absorbed."
Yeah, he's like, didn't you realize my force of will's too strong? The guy looks down, there's like a hole in his hand shaped like Dr. Blaine.
My left hand!
Shit. Yeah, you shouldn't grab me. I'm hot. He's like fucking exuding energy.
The descent down the elevator is long, consuming 15 minutes for. During this time, the camera experiences one malfunction, where the image jerks and turns to snow. Restoring to show 14 other figures in the elevator with Dr. Blaine as video pans around.
I know exactly what they're describing. It's like that shit in, it's like TV static in fucking Slenderman, where it's like...
Oh, really? I was imagining the Captain America Winter Soldier scene.
Oh.
The elevator for fight. Before we get started, does anyone want to get off? All of whom move as he moves to allow him space. They remain for 35 seconds, then the camera flickers to snow and returns. Dr. Blaine is now alone in the elevator dancing, as is assumed by the ducks and sways in the video feed. This guy's a freak. I was memeing it, but you're right.
He's like, literally, I told you, he's just a weirdo for no reason. And the worst part is, kind of, like, outside
the kind
of being
freak
overly
you need
edgy...
to get the yellow disc.
Like, outside the camera shit and, like, the not harness shit, like, just throwing a donut or dancing in an elevator, that's shit I would do, right? But, like, he's also just, like, doesn't care about procedure. How is he a doctor?
He's a video game protagonist.
Are they sure he doesn't have any psychological issues? I feel like he does. Maybe. Yeah, this is Gmod for him.
Dr. Blaine pauses to comment on a rising stench coming from below. At this point, the elevator has reached floor minus 108. Dr. Blaine presses negative 110, to interrupt the descent down and exits when that floor is reached. The elevator doors open to an enclosed observation deck with several PCs and chairs. All PCs appear to have power. My gaming rig.
Hell yeah.
The ceiling to this
He
deck.
just sits down and he still opens League of Legends. Finally, I have good ping down here. Yeah, that's why I didn't want the harness.
It's like, seal me,
I can play League all day.
Yeah.
Time to play some games. Opens up fucking Google Earth.
The ceiling to Google Earth.
Yeah,
that's the game he plays.
Yeah, remember that game? Geocatcher, that's what it is.
I love the idea though, Google Earth, like this guy thinking it's a video game. Just like swirling and going around.
He's like, I'm getting so many points. He's looking at the fucking coordinates. Such a gamer.
The ceiling to this deck is also glass, and above it, another deck is visible. Dr. Blaine approaches the monitoring station and checks one of the PC screens. On the screen is a Faithful OS logo and a video feed toggling between 4 different views. The first view is a room with tubes similar to those found in Test Violet, which number in the thousands. The second view is a closer-up view of these tubes, as a camera glides in front of each to monitor the content. At all tubes the camera passes by are broken.
You okay?
The third view is facing the opposite, checking each observation station. Yeah. Hi.
Oh, shit.
Hi.
I can't hear him.
Hi.
Well, time out. Can you hear me? Can you? Okay, I totally lost you. Last thing I heard was all... Oh my god, all of it must have come
I'm beaming it directly
I stopped asking
into your brain
you
now.
me 5 different times. Okay, so last
thing I heard was
the
opposite direction
as
the camera glides vertically, checking each observation station. A total of 10 can be counted, and Dr. Blaine is visible as the camera passes by his own station. Looking up, a hovering camera unit with no visible means of propulsion glides up past him. The fourth view shows the ground floor below the observation deck, where a single, astonishingly large torso being is crawling into circles, bumping into walls and changing directions. From the camera feed, the creature's estimated size is 6 stories. Can I popcorn for a little bit? Yeah. It's a stereotypical
ground floor
corporate
is
lobby.
6 stories large. Interesting. Returning attention to the contents of the PC, Dr. Blaine moves the video log aside to see a simple text editor that was hidden behind... Oh, he's starting his
look
fucking
after your chows.
walkthrough YouTube video in 2009. Look, a printout of this text was recovered and filed in the field kit. The printout directed Dr. Blaine to a safe on floor 54 and provided a combination. Dr. Blaine leaves the observation deck and proceeds to 54 without event, arriving on a cubicled office floor. He proceeds to the desk mentioned in the document and finds a safe hidden beneath a desk undisturbed. This combination provided opens the safe and reveals a notebook. Filed in the field kit, and a peculiar revolver that has been returned as blank blank, in addition to the 24 rounds of ammo found with it. Dr. Blaine proceeds back to the elevator without event and returns to 34. I assume floor 34?
Yeah, floor 34.
Given the sheer number of floors available to explore and the vital information obtained from the observation deck, the test is considered over and equipment is retrieved. Before returning through the entry point, Dr. Blaine investigates a terminal nearby that has power and finds it shows the exact same screen the one on negative 110 shows. It is theorized that the author of the note installed a network virus to propagate it through the building so any PC on that network would be found in the
network virus.
That's just how a network works. That's not a virus. You can just... When you're on a network, you can see shit other people on the network. Like, because I'm like
maybe
going to college for information tech and like cybersecurity. So like
maybe
that was the dumbest sentence I've ever read in my entire fucking life. We need a virus to access information on the network. So stupid.
That's what it says. That's what it says. That's what it says.
Yeah, okay,
that's what's in the text.
Sure. Justify it how you want. That's stupid as fuck. Okay. No, it doesn't. It doesn't say forced. It just says it is theorized the author of the note installed a network virus to propagate it. Nothing about forced.
You know, everyone who watches the video can see a tension meter at the top, and it's how close to
Blaine
combat we are, and we're very fucking close right now. I'm furious. The
I can't
windows
tell
are
if you're
rattling
actually
in this
mad at me
room.
or not. That was. Okay, I'm too autistic to tell you. Have to be real with me. Are you actually upset
right
in any capacity? Is this okay? Is this like the toy gun situation all over again? Dr. Blaine returns through the entry point, and the mirror returns to a reflective surface. All materials filed with other SCP-093 recovered materials. Analysis of blank and the ammunition for it postponed for reason that it would require deconstruction of one of the rounds, and they may be beneficial until testing of SCP-093 is resolved.
Maybe.
Video ends. Oh, are they like special ammo that can stop the torso beasts? Does that mean the last test is going to turn into an action film?
Yeah,
this one's actually
the
really short, but there's another link at the bottom. Will we have to read that as well? Oh my god, there's so much to this SCP. This SCP never fucking ends. I'll tell you that. I will say it has gotten a bit more interesting, but I'm still not seeing the appeal quite yet. But maybe it'll get tied up at the ending.
Until you need to popcorn.
Alright, do you want me to start this one?
When you say popcorn, I will come back.
Resume?
Like King Arthur.
Okay. SCP-093 Red Test. SCP-093 Mirror Test 5. Color red. SCP-093 distributed among staff until a new color could be generated by contact with it. Service technician Michael was able to cause SCP-093 to take on a fierce red hue and glow, much brighter than the object's normal color. Isn't red like its color normally?
Yeah, it's normally red. It's a red sea object.
But this is like menacing red?
Yeah.
But this is like fiery red. Michael agreed to assist with a test of 093. Per Dr. Blaine's request, given to Technician Michael for use in this test. When applied to the mirror for the test, SCP-093 generates an unknown environment. No color tinge appears present on the displayed destination, which is comprised of red stonework. Technician Michael enters the mirror and video capture begins. Video flickers to life, and Technician Michael, known hereafter as Subject, is viewing a large cylindrical pillar that is rotating on its own. Was this also part of the original article? Because it goes back to that like hyper-specific dimensional shit. Object is of unknown height and appears to be 1.8 meters or 6 feet in width. Holes are distributed throughout the object at seemingly random intervals. Oh, it's a giant flute. On occasion, a beam of white light is emitted from these holes. Turning of the camera finds that the beams are connected to a multitude of objects similar to SCP-093 that are part of the room's walls. The room turns out to also be cylindrical in shape, with countless copies of SCP-093. Subject turns back to entry point and finds it is a section of the wall that is missing its copy of SCP-093, presumably the one carried with Subject. Other sections of the wall on inspection are also found to be missing their copies, leading to speculation that this may be some sort of central array. Subject finds interestingly enough, though, this isn't a mirror, but they stay inside of their little holes, yeah? Unless it is just one big mirror. Subject finds a ladder in the floor while examining the room and proceeds down it at Control's request. The ladder exits into a large, clean room full of computer equipment that appears antiquated compared to previously encountered equipment. Large computers running on reel-to-reels are clicking and spinning at various locations. A light bulb of unknown meaning turns on for 10 seconds, then turns off. A large CRT monitor is displaying single words in 8 colors at roughly 5-second intervals. While observed, the words clean, unclean, clean, clean, lost, unclean flash on the screen. Proceeding through the room, it ends in a large glass window as another observation desk. This desk looks out over another series of tubes as witnessed before, but far fewer and filled with a blue liquid. What appears to be electrical current dances over many of the tubes at erratic intervals. At least 5 tubes at first glance are empty and broken. At the observation window, a keyboard is present on a pedestal awaiting a selection to be made. The options available on the screen are Tube Status, which waits for a numerical input, Reports, Situation X549, Situation X550, Evacuation Log, Bullshit, Agent blank 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 Report, and Facility Fire Plan. Video expunged. All selections that generated text were transcribed by Subject and verified by a control member who passed through the portal to recover them. This process took approximately 2 hours, and video feed was deleted to condense this report. Oh yeah, that seems smart. Recorded documents or files.
I can bring them up.
Blank, video interrupted. Control lost count.
Yeah, it's just no, I can't.
Really?
Of course.
Thank God.
Control lost contact with Subject approximately 30 minutes after departure of Control Tech. Subject was asked to remain in the area and observe the machinery in the containment room to make observations for debriefing. The SCP mirror portal returned to a reflective surface prematurely, and all video contact with the subject was lost. Control was unable to re-establish due to the SCP being across the mirror. A time lapse of... I guess so.
Wait, so Michael got trapped
1 minute and
inside?
48 seconds was recorded before mirror portal re-established itself and subject returned through portal. Subject appeared to be in good health and condition despite the time loss, but spoke little. During immediate debriefing, subject underwent sudden convulsions and medical staff was alerted. While attempting to subdue subject, he displayed enhanced strength.
Is he gonna
used
become
blank to shoot one of the debriefing staff, killing them. Guard shot subject once with a sidearm in the heart and once in the chest, but subject did not fall. All staff evacuated room and a second shot was fired by subject was missed. A more heavily armed team entered the briefing room and used automatic weapons to dispatch subject. Reports confirmed that subject did not bleed when shot, but instead leaked a green/brown substance that seemed to be a mix of solution observed in some containment tubes and the material recovered during test 3. All further SCP tests have been discontinued, while a review of materials recovered is in effect. A secondary tape recording device was found to have been activated in the field kit after loss of video feed, and its contents have been filed with other recovered materials. All recovered materials from SCP-093 testing are level 4 classification. The release must be approved by no fewer than 2 level 4 personnel. Now we have the materials recovered from the tests, which is a bit long.
Nice. Wait, staff with acceptable clearance, please sign in with Dr. Blaine. He has to control it.
You got to dance for
He's
him.
the strongest doctor. So you need his
The grand finale, we have to. It's
oh
the
my
ending.
god, this is so fucking long, Tanhony. I can't handle it.
We have to. We can't stop right at the end. 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 We started early. This is why we're here.
Look at it. We're already 40 minutes in.
This guy hates us.
Fine. Oh my god, I hate this article.
Recovered materials.
Kind of.
All documents contained in this file are Class 4
making me hate
clearance,
SCP.
requiring 2 signed approvals to access. Any employee reading past this on the wrong line, which gives us an alternative for employee. Blue test. On newspaper article 1.
Okay, that wasn't
You're
even
gonna
that
go be
long.
put
I
on
don't know why I
keto
skipped it, but it
duty.
basically said if you try to go in and you don't have the thing, they're gonna terminate you, and they will either give you forced Class A amnesiac or
Well, you've got one thing wrong. They're going to give you amnesic.
Seems kind of petty. The second one.
Yeah, well, they're going.
No, it says actions up to and including. The second one just seems petty.
You don't get
Death
given.
in the
You don't get given
amnestic
amnestic.
makes sense, but the fucking tether class security is just petty.
Mysterious drug. Only one item
yeah.
could be recovered during our initial test, and that was a newspaper clipping found attached to a corkboard in an abandoned bunker. Most of the articles were in a state of decay, but one was firm enough for recovery. Most Holy Father announces progress, unclean being cleansed. A rare public address directly from the Most Holy Father of the United Lands of the Sun has declared that the Blessed Militia has driven back many of the unclean who are skulking our lands now. New Rome, our capital, has been purged of the unclean, and citizens are encouraged to come back to their homes. Citizens who live in the surrounding countryside should not return to their farms, as the unclean still roam the fields and plains around our glorious city and continue to grow in size. The Blessed Militia has developed new weapons, which has proven capable of punishing the unclean and driving them back into the unfertile lands. Big boys, yeah. Oh.
I assume
Construction has begun of a system to permanently close the unfertile lands off from our blessed lands in each infected area once all the unclean have been driven away. The most holy request...
Wait, how come this article never talked about, like in the beginning it was like it
I
has
guess.
to do with their sense of guilt or whatever, but...
The most holy request that all citizens of our united lands bow in prayer and offer tithe to recognize the sacrifices of our blessed militia in these troubled times. Reports have been coming in that falsely accuse the Blessed Militia have committed sin against the citizens whose homes they are inhabiting as they travel bravely through contaminated lands. The Most Holy would like to remind the people that blasphemy against any who wear his mark is the most grave of sin, and unfounded accusations will be punished accordingly. We should work to support he and his men however possible, just as they lay down their lives for us. The sinful rebels who... And that's where it gets rotted away, I guess.
Oh.
Green test. Newspaper articles 2, 3, 4 in diary.
Goes.
Our second test recovered many materials that
Just
helped
a
to
piece of
establish the
cheese.
sequence of events for this alternate world. The diary recovered provided a glimpse into the last days of the owners of the home from which it was recovered.
Oh. So it's not a purgatory.
It may represent activity in other areas of the world as well. Newspaper article 2. I'm going to continue to do my news guy voice. Farms surrounding the city of Silver Feathers have reported being unable to contact neighbours across voice or video feeds in the last week. Until an approval is granted by the regional High Farmer, an investigation cannot commence, but he assures the people that these events have not escaped his attention. Residents are advised to notify their local Blessed Voice daily, so any further disappearances can be addressed immediately. Residents are also advised to begin stocking their shelters to be ready for any situation. The next newspaper article. Following the disappearance of the Blessed Voices from several outlying regions around the area of Silver Feathers, the regional High Farmer has declared a concern for safety and livelihood. Under this declaration, all farmhouse residents must evacuate immediately to their shelters. Scattered reports of an unclean have come in, but have yet to be verified. Newspaper article 4. The city of Glorious Song has stopped responding to any and all communications. The worst can only be assumed, and our hearts go out to any who are in the region who are unable to hear our words. The city of Silver Feathers Blessed Militia have reported several incursions by the unclean into the city and have exterminated 4 of the abominations before they can become a danger to any residents. The regional High Father reminds the citizens to avoid direct confrontation with the unclean. Conventional arms do nothing to the unclean. Only the most holy of implements will penetrate their sin, so do not put yourself in danger. Any citizens who suspect their neighbours indulging in heavy sin should immediately contact the Blessed Militia through designated checkpoints.
I'm confused what the redstone is, because clearly it's a part of something bigger where there's a bunch of them, and it lets you go to different areas, and there's like all this shit about testing. I'm wondering if they're actually going to elaborate or if this is going to be all build up, no payout. Because right now they're focusing on the shit that doesn't really matter much. Like, okay, we get it. These things are related to sin or guilt in some way. Probably if you sin or you're bad or some experiment, you become a thing. But get to the interesting stuff, you know? Talk to us about what the stone is, what was really going on behind the scenes, what all those
you tell us from your point of view.
That's what I want to hear about.
Because it's like an American accent in this diary, so maybe you can do this. This guy writes in his accent.
Right, should I just talk like normal,
or
do I have to talk like a cowboy?
It tells you. It's right there. Yeah.
When you write your accent into the diary. I think the furthest I've ever seen anyone write an accent into a diary is saying "ya" instead of "you." You know what I mean? But like no one like puts all the apostrophes or whatever. Well, I haven't read this yet. Maybe it's not like that. Maybe you're exaggerating. Let me see. Diary. Blank, blank, blank. I have the distinct feeling... Oh, God. I have the distinct feeling we're going to die, so I'm going to write this all down now for whoever comes along and finds our bones. My name is Hervev Jackalsiv, and I'm a farmer. I grow the rabsticks and the huskiers. We raise the inks and the ohms. It's me, my wife, Opheria, and our 2 little uns, Trevin and Listeria. I got this book on trade from the blessed man who came by for food and shelter. He told us to start getting our shelter ready and not to let no other blessed who coming by even though we're here. Says the whole thing break down, nothing right no more. So I does as he said, got it all ready. We're going down there in the next day or so. In the morning he was gone, which made the wife sad, as he was polite to us, unlike most of the others. Figure he didn't want to be no birder. Liz went out looking for him to be sure he wasn't just round the house. He didn't turn up nowhere. Oh my God, why would he write in his accent? What the fuck, Neko Chris?
Juggling it.
I'm tossing my keyboard in the air. This is enraging me. Now, this is the point where I need to be like, no hard feelings to Neko Chris. I'm sure they were a very influential author, great person. I'm not trying to insult them or anything. I was just making a joke. But this article is giving me brain damage a little bit. Just a little bit. He didn't turn up nowhere, so we guess he left. Strange enough, Liz found his clothes around a mile or so away, and all his gear, but no him. She left... No him. That made me laugh, okay. She left it all there, and that's for the best of what happened that I think. What the fuck is he saying? I'm getting brain damage. I can't stand. I'm clearly no educated man, don't claim to be, but I can put 2 and 2 together and tell you things that are bad out there. Who is you? You're writing in a diary! You're writing in a diary! Who's you? For everyone, and especially for us, because it's coming way too close. Sometimes you can smell it. That's when we hide. Smells like a leg of meat that's been rotting for way too long and just won't go back into the dirt. What the fuck is he saying? Even the soil is rejecting him, I guess, refusing to let him be buried alive, buried to die. It came too fast. We weren't ready. The smell came in the night. Maybe we would have been fine, but the little ones were afraid, so we went to the shelter. Trev was slow. He saw it, kept staring at it as it shambled by. It ignored us until he screamed when I was getting less than the mist down in the shelter. I went to get him, but it was too fast. I saw him standing up there screaming, and then its head came down on him, pressed over him. He tried to run for the stairs, tried to get to us, but then oh God. But then in a blink, he was gone, and it pulled away. His clothes fell into the cellar like he vanished out of them. I got into the shelter, slammed the hatch, and locked it. I think it knows we're here now. I'll try to get in, take us too. No telling how long we got. Plenty of food, though. I was wrong. Food was rotten. Something got into it, or I just didn't notice. We're eating. So, this is interesting because there were 2 kids. They were this guy's kids, but I thought that was supposed to parallel the gal who had murdered 2
Maybe it's
kids,
like how the disc decides where to put you.
But I guess it was just a coincidence.
There's similarities.
Or maybe because she...
There's like coordinates. Like your life is coordinates.
Maybe. That could be it, yeah. Perhaps. I thought it would have been more interesting if it was like related directly to the crime she committed, but fair enough, I guess. We're eating what we can. There's food, but not enough, and that thing ain't leaving. It's trying to find ways in. Smell the smell, coming from the life web plug in the wall. Something seeped through it and we kept away. It got all hard like a rock and don't smell no more. Maybe the power in the plug finally let it die. I went up to peek. Cellar's fine, Trevor's clothes still on the stairs. Peeked outside, we're not gonna make it. There were 10, 20, 30, I couldn't count. So many, all going in a circle around the house, looking at it with those faceless faces. And the stink, oh, the stink! Went back into the shelter and locked the door. I don't want to see my family right away. I think faster is better. The miss, she agrees, but we won't tell this. She'll be first, then my wife, my love. Hey, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I gave the best life to my family possible. It was them holy ones what brought this. I'm gonna pen this in memory to my great pap. He was old and knew stories older than himself. Says those unclean they preach about, those unfertile zones they say stay out of, all 'cause of the most holy bringing the world together. Them things are the ultimate sin. Everything about us that was evil and impure is that. They don't know nothing but doing what they do. Don't even know why they do it. They just do it. Take us into them, they were gone. I asked Pap what they were, and he lit a stick, took a puff, and he said, "Don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody'll admit it. But if you see this symbol, if you see it, you run, boy. You run fast, you run far, and you hide, and you never go back where you saw it. That's all I know. I remember the symbol was on the rock he kept on his neck under his shirt. Next day, Pap was gone, nowhere to be found. Dad weren't sad, said he knew it would happen one day. Pap went home. See you soon, Dad. Pap. Data expunged. Symbol matched symbol found on SCP-093's surface as one of the deeper engravings. Also matches symbols noticed on video feed of final test on SCP-093 duplicates. I'm going to wait for Tan to come back because I think he was hauled away. So, we're just going to vibe here for a little bit. And I'll keep you guys busy, because I know everyone's got their pitchforks ready, because I'm not enjoying 093 as much, and it's not, I know it's all important in the history, yada yada, but, I don't know, guys. This one's, it's meh. I mean, it's finally getting interesting at the end here, but you shouldn't have to wade through, 5 articles of non-stop description and, pointless detail to get there, It should be woven throughout the story. It should have less filler text, you know what I mean? It should be just because something's long doesn't mean it's good. You can make a long thing really good. There's plenty of stuff like that on the wiki and outside of it. But just because something's really long doesn't make it inherently good. I know people say in the comments that this is like the predecessor to long articles on the wiki, and how without them they wouldn't exist, but I just don't think that's true. Plenty of media have longer form storytelling, and it would have come about in one way or another. But that said, I do recognize, this is important to a lot of people. There's a layer of nostalgia. I will admit it gets more interesting at the end, and I can see
this guy hates
how maybe
SCP.
if you're reading faster because you're not reading aloud, it gets that way. But right now, it's just like...
Well, I mean, on my end, because there were people talking my end.
You don't need to cut out any of that. I talked the whole time.
Well, it's because I'm muted.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Maybe it didn't pick up on... Well, you probably just muted your Discord. Yeah. Fair enough. I just finished reading the test, and then I stopped at Violet Test. I didn't read any of that yet. I figure I shouldn't get too further. I was going to say, though, so it seems like the symbol that's on the 093, like, attracts these things or leads to them or whatever. But then why would the station trying to stop them have them? It's interesting. Yeah, and I was given some thoughts that I'll probably go over again when we review the thing final. But for now, Violet Test, Office Ledger, sorry. The third test with SCP-093 resulted in the unfortunate loss of a security member, but also allowed us to recover a ledger with insight into the medical procedures carried out on the alternate Earth, now termed E093. Oh, so we've just decided it's an alternate Earth now. Patient, Jennifer McZirka. Recovery tube, 001-1. Mixture, 35% tears, 30% nutrient, 10% HFT, 25% blessing. Summary. Jennifer McZirka is 20 cycles of age and during her 18th cycle was the victim of a hoveride accident that resulted in brain damage and misalignment of her moral processes. She is prone to violent outbursts and can only be calmed down by impure stimulation. Because of this, she actively seeks out strangers to mingle with, and her parents have requested of the High Father that she be set to the tears to mend her mind and body. Patient accepted. During preparation for the tears, subject went into a rage, and the attending hand went to recover a sedative. Jennifer tore her clothes off and screamed impure words at me, so I locked the door and instructed the hand to wait outside. I am half shameful to admit I laid Jennifer a total of 7 times before... Jesus. Yeah, they're all like, they're basically calling her, like a... They said it earlier, like a whore, and then he's like, oh, by the way, I fucked her 7 times before we put her in the tube. It's kind of fucked up, not gonna lie. I mean, I know it's the not necessarily the fault. I get that's like the world the story's trying to tell is like these quote unquote religious guys are all fucked up or whatever. But that's a yikers detail. Gotta admit, I am half shameful. Okay, it has been very long for me, and her parents have abandoned her to our care. So care for her I will. Before setting her to the tears, I authorized the left probe of her body functions and found she is settled. Look, I'm not a guy who thinks that you can't have dark
shit. You're getting a lot of Tanhony discomfort noises here.
Just to really hammer in the point. Wow, these religious guys are mega evil and hypocritical. It's like this feels a little over the top. Of her body function.
I appreciate the fact that everything it's not just a probe; it's a blessed probe. The hand went out the blessed door.
Yeah. Blessed probe. Okay. So he... Okay, in test confirm it shall be mine. I have mixed her bath to accommodate this, and she will soak in the tears until her body is ready to give life. God, please tell me the rest of my life.
He's left.
Reading that shit.
Patient non-recovery... Oh, there you go.
Okay. No, I didn't leave.
Patient non-recovery tube 01-2.
Sorry, yeah, you take over for a bit.
That's even more fucked up. They didn't even put a guy in that one. Patient Alberius Farafan recovery tube 001-3. Mixture 8% tears, 20% nutrient. Jeez, Alberius, why do they let you have 80% tears? Summary.
Yeah, that's like more than 3 times the tears Jennifer has. No, wait. Double the
tears. Alberius Farafan is a farmer from outside the city of Silverfeathers who claims to have lost family to the unclean. He confronted the High Fathers of the city and demanded compensation and retribution for the loss. The High Fathers deny the existence of unclean beyond the unfertile lands and refuse compensation or retribution. Alberius struck a High Father and was arrested and sentenced to a cleansing of the soul. His mixture is primarily tears to seep into the soul and cleanse his heart and ease his pain. The lawkeepers state his family is indeed missing, so his sentence beyond the tears has been dropped in sympathy for their loss. I used the last of the HFT on Jennifer, or else I've used less tears in this bath. 80% is higher than I'm comfortable with, but the HFT is becoming hard to obtain. I may have to go through the dark. Imagine that, like the black market.
The dark. Dun,
Patient.
Dun, dun.
Recovery tube, O2-1.
Alright.
Mixture, 75% nutrient, 25% blessing. That's some nice nutrients. Yeah. So, member of Blessed Minister, wounded in combat.
Okay,
Requests
these
from
are all the
high
exact
power,
same, so you only have to read it once.
And there's no rest for the other two.
So if you're a member of the Blessed Militia, your identity doesn't really matter.
The fourth test into... Yeah. EO93 provides us with...
Alright, now we're on to the yellow test. So, he's abandoned us again, huh? Anomalous, you'll have to mute out all these parts on his audio, but it's okay. I'll keep things moving.
The fourth test into EO93 provided us with documentation
Oh,
seems to be written by a technician in either a medical or government facility. Blank blank, found in the safe, is being considered for SCP classification, primarily due to the composition of the ammunition found with it, and the advanced firing mechanism attached to what should be a very base firearm. Base? Based on what? PC printouts.
Wait, the existence of base firearm implies the existence of a cringe firearm.
PC printout. I did not trust the Overwatchers. I felt something was wrong years ago. This is my Winston impression, in case you can't tell. Under my desk on floor 54 is a safe with a weapon in it. It is one of those used by the Blessed Militia. My brother sent it to me. Hi there. He says that they are also not what they claim. They have done things to our fellows even more vile than what the unclean would do. He tells me to be ready to fight. I cannot. It is not me. I do not know violence. I am too frail. You, use it. Save yourself. Captain.
Oh my god, here, we're getting a Yoshikage Kira speech here. Do you want to do that?
My name is Herval Tulowis. I'm a hard systems watcher here. My job is to monitor the sinful who bathe in the Lord's tears, and then make sure they reach the prescribed dilution time. I've been doing this job for 23 years, and every night I sleep like a baby.
over a third of my life.
And now things are falling apart. I can no longer abide by the most holy. I must speak the truth. We are being told to evacuate. The containment tubes have been breached. An unclean has appeared in a place of rest, and we are unable to destroy it. The live motion footage shows how it came to be, and this is what has unsealed my heart and mind and tongue. I must speak. Should the Overwatchers see this, I will be sad, so I must hide it. Thankfully, they are ignorant of the hardware, so I can hide this easily, with a virus that propagates it through the network. The Overwatchers told us we should leave last to ensure the hardware contains the unclean. What that means is we should distract it and die in case it breaches the watch index. It should shatter nearly all the tubes and absorb the people in them. I dispatched the eyes to the unclean and they have touched it, bringing me back a sample of it. The unclean are not sinners. They are not products of our disobedience. I suspect they are us. The eyes have dated the sample. It is older than myself, older than my elders. It is over 200 cycles in age. 200! The sirens are still sounding, but no signal has come for us to leave. I do not think this unclean is alone. I have seen how they can get into places, between places, between places! Is that where they have been all this time? Between places? The makeup of the unclean is unstable. Molecules detach and reattach almost before my eyes. As if to move, the entire thing reforms itself in space and time. Why does it not come up here? Too much effort, or does it not sense me? They have no eyes, no mouth, no face. They cannot speak, cannot see, but they must be able to sense us. The smell, it is so...
They cannot speak, they have no mouth, and yet they must scream.
It is not the smell of the dead. It is a smell that something comes from something that should be dead but does not know how to die. The war of the most holy...
Okay. I get what they're trying to do with, like, the evocative language, but please describe to me what that smell is.
The war of the holy...
When do you smell something and you're like, that's the smell of something that should be dead but doesn't know how to?
That's when I smell you.
I mean, come on.
The war of the...
Maybe I'm being a little too strict.
The war of the Holy Union. I think that's where it may have started. We are united under the most holy, but what does he owe us? Nothing. We merely keep society running while those on high benefit. Seize the means of production, my man. Is this not how it's always been?
Oh.
But now...
Yo, anti-religion and anti-capitalism.
But now we are told we are pleasing the will of those above us in the clouds, those Greek beings who gave us the power to live and prosper. Those we have... Oh, this guy, he's logging onto Reddit as we speak. Those we have never laid eyes upon, but told we must revere. Lies, all of it must be.
I am enlightened in this moment, not by any phony... What are they called? The high ones? Hold on.
The
What are
most
their names?
holy.
The holy ones? Not by any high father's blessing, but by my own intelligence.
I am using the eyes to create a fluid to oppose the makeup of the unclean sample. Perhaps they will cancel each other out. I will leave soon and store the rounds here. I cannot use the weapon. I am too weak a man for
Okay,
this.
so it's a weapon. It's ammo. It's an ammo made of unclean juice that can kill uncleans.
I will protect my family with my mind and not with my rage. We'll be safe in the fields. I know where to go.
God, he is a fucking Redditor.
I will go above now to my family. I will leave the hardware running. I was told to turn it off, but this is where I will defy them. It will run. This will watch. The eyes will see how much time they have. Someone will read this and someone will know. Take the gun, take the fluid. Do not listen to the most holy. We did, and we are damned. Blank Blank is a revolver-style weapon with two 12-bullet cylinders. The design of the gun has one cylinder on each side, raised slightly, so they may flip into the gun itself and then rotate, firing all rounds before flipping back out and allowing it to be reloaded while a second is usable, allowing a total of 24 shots before it runs empty. There is no firing pin on this gun, but instead there is a pull-back slide mechanism that must be used to prime the active cylinder. Badass. At the time of recovering, all 24 slots contained a syringe-style bullet with 32 needles on the end. But unfortunately we kept firing it by accident, so now it's empty. On impact, it assumed the force of the shot will press the liquid inside into the target. None have been tested. Of express interest is that these cylinders can hold standard 45 caliber ammunition, which has been tested. The gun. The gun. I'm dying. The gun.
Usually I'm the one who has fucking heartburn and damage.
No, I had a hiccup when I tried to repress it. The gun uses an ultra-high-powered magnetic rail system to deliver this shot, so the gunpowder in the bullet is never used. Badass. In consideration is a redesign of a round which would utilise the gunpowder mid-flight to add even higher velocity to the round, or that would explode on impact for higher yield. They really think they like this gun at the Foundation. Like, let's make it more badass.
Yeah.
Red test PC printouts.
Sweet future tech.
The final authorised test of the SCP results in the loss of a skilled service technician.
God.
My man.
We're already a minute and like...
A minute?
What is it? A minute and 12...
We're a minute in?
Sorry, an hour and 12-ish.
This guy's so lazy. He doesn't want the podcast to go beyond a minute.
I have to use the bathroom so bad.
Curious among these is Agent Blank 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 report, which appears to be written by a Foundation employee several decades ago. While his paper printouts were the best material recovered, it seems that the system used to create them allowed for multiple forms of inputs, including typed and verbal speech to text. Some audio logs of the printouts below are available, but must be requested in advance with fully written explanations as to why. This dual input system seems to explain the variance in the style between users, as well as assumptions.
How did they instantly know that these are from Foundation employees decades ago?
I assume the one that's from the Foundation employee, he says that. I assume he says. Between users, as well as assumptions made on the part of the software are performing conversions. Can I popcorn briefly to you? We'll pass these last ones between us.
Sure, I've got you. I'll do like 3, and then you can do 3, and then I'll...
But I've looked ahead. There is one I want to do specifically.
Wait, hold on. Okay, which one?
You'll know when you get to it.
Okay. Facility fire plan. In the event of any emergency requiring the facility to be evacuated, all Clearance 4 staff should report to Train Station 3 and use their vial to call the evacuation train. Only one vial is required to call the train and may contain any amount of tiers. An empty vial will not call the train. Clear 2 and 1 staff should remain at their posts until either 10 minutes after the departure of Clear 4 persons or until authorized by Clear 4 staff. Is this supposed to be like this is an alternate world Foundation in the future?
Maybe,
type
yeah.
of deal? Clear 3 staff should utilize the protective garments at their stations and weapon lockers before proceeding to designated crisis areas as dictated by Clear 4 staff. Reports. 3 unfertile zones have increased 25% in size in the last 7 days. Containment teams are not finding any presence of unclean in these zones, but they are visibly confirmed as expanding. Clear 5 level high fathers have... Okay, so they've made their thing more holy as time goes on, I see. It's Foundation...
Well, Clear 5, I assume...
high on their rockers.
I assume Clear 5 is like the O5 Council.
Yeah, and now they're like the high five. Yeah, this is like alternate world. 1487, or wait, what's the number of your hole?
1474, I think.
Is it
1437?
the hole that goes down their worlds didn't matter? Clear 5 level High Fathers have confirmed breaches in the holy chambers at each of these zones, all chambers found empty. It is believed that the unclean have breached containment on the holy chambers, dispatching additional guard to remaining chambers. Situation X549. Expansion of Zone 64TO has been confirmed. Unfertile Zone containment procedures in effect. Containment Zone dispatched to site. This is the 10th report in 30 days, upgrading the situation status. Reports from Clear 5 High Fathers have stopped at all affected. The city of His Word has been placed on full lockdown, and all travel denied in or out. Other cities are now in alert mode, and combat teams are being dispatched to city perimeters. Popcorn.
Situation X550. The Grand Land of Hufosia has fallen per satellite images. Entire landmass considered tainted. Outbreak of sin reported in Lavinia, and that landmass has requested assistance from the Holy Union. Assistance denied due to our own outbreak and mass reportings of unclean. Clear 10 staff have issued the order to evacuate via the gateway, and for all Holy Union authorized personnel to proceed to the nearest Skype platform for evacuation to Star Eye Eden. That's a badass fucking name. To continue monitoring status. Gateway keys have been ejected to prevent spread from this center to other space/time vectors. Resurrecting staff are being awakened to monitor and continue reports here as we evacuate. May his blessings forgive our greatest sin. Evacuation in progress. Shuttle 1 away. Shuttle 2 away. Release us. Why. Shuttle 3 arrow launch. Aborted procedure alpha. We are proceeding to law. Why. Release us. Why. What do we do? Why. System detecting electricity. Why we hurt? What do we do? Why we hurt? What do we do? System shut down. System report. Contaminated in progress. Why. Listen. System purrs. There we go. You just heard my spoken poetry.
You just skipped all the important parts. I love how you only enunciated the parts that sounded like brain rot and skipped all the parts that had actual information. So good. Alright, do you want to read bullshit or is that
this is
me?
the one I wanted to read. Bullshit.
Alright, go.
What if is this place? Lol. Okay, so there are people typing stuff here, so I'm gonna type too, lol. So I found this rock in the pond by my house, and it was all kind of glowy and stuff when I picked it up, so I'm like, oh wow, pretty. And when I pick it up, the pond, you couldn't see the bottom, it was this weird room with a glowy rock thing. Well, I don't know. So I guess fell into it. Oops.
So it doesn't need to be a mirror. It can be anything reflective because they did it with a pond.
And now I'm here and not there, and really, I'm kind of scared. But this place is like a movie set, so it's cool. LOL. There's some guy I can hear talking. He keeps asking me to come downstairs, but I don't see no door. He keeps screaming for help too, because I told him to eat me laugh, and he won't shut up. I guess I could try going back into that room, but it's so creepy in there. I'm sort of scared to laugh. Oh hey, I found a door. It's in the floor instead of on a wall. So I'm gonna go tell guys yelling to shut it up so I can go home. Be back later.
I love how this is written like a 2000s goth girl.
Rawr.
Fucking just found a PC. Rawr XT. All right, do you want to be the agent as well?
Well, I've done my free.
Fucking abandoned. Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Oh god, I have to pee so fucking bad.
You can go. Just go pee.
Okay. No, I have to do this. Agent
this guy is fucked.
My name is Yoshikage Kira Yoshikage, even, and I am an agent at the Foundation. The year in my world is 1972. I assume it is the same in this world, but from what I have seen, due to SCP-093, life on this world ended in So is this the guy from a couple decades ago? Life on this world ended in approximately 1954. I've used SCP-093 to visit a number of locales, starting and ending here in the center. I've seen the landscapes where no grass will grow. I have run from the unclean as they pursue anything they sense. I have no understanding of how they hunt, but I have learned what they are. Approximately 350 years ago, this world experienced a technological boom. Ours did not. The source of this seems to have been the arrival of He, a godlike being of unknown origin. Tanhony? He declared the world unclean and full of sin, and the only way to purge itself of the sin was to purge the sinners. A war, whoever was left alive was clean. Amazing advances in science were bestowed to all cultures for a period of 10 years to prepare them for this war, and during that time, he disappeared. The war... This sounds like a fucking anime plot. This sounds like just the plot of Drifters. The war happened anyway. The instigator, the Holy Union of Land, apparently the landmass that for us would become the United States. Records are sketchy, and books that detail anything about this time period are forbidden in the world. I located a cache of recorded history by following a series of corrupted computer communications. It seems the primary weapon used in this war for his love was, in fact, people. Exposed to something called his holy tears, a liquid compound I have seen in use even today in abandoned medical facilities. His holy tears purge the sin from the unclean and make them love him. At least that's what the label states. The records I recovered are very unclear about how this war was waged, except to state his holy chosen walked the lands of the sinful and took their sin unto themselves. Those who cried for his salvation received it and are now our children. Those who denied his love were purified in his radiance. But something apparently happened no one knew how to deal with. The unclean, the large creatures that are half a man and devour whatever they touch that lives and breathes. I actually found a scientific report written by someone who stumbled here with an SCP-093 copy. These creatures are the result of exposure to a very pure form of his tears, resulting in a genetic apocalypse occurring within the exposed. There are terms in here, something about quantum restructuring. I don't understand any of this, but it means they were once humans like everyone else that couldn't be controlled. But they could be contained. They seemed to be attracted to his tears, and a central point was established in various regions where a person with the purest form of his tears stays, keeping the unclean in that area known as an unfertile land. Something went wrong with that too. Not sure what, but everything fell apart. Does that imply that the guy that stopped by put the tears or whatever in that family so they would go around the farm?
I don't know.
Or maybe he was that individual himself, and that's why he
probably.
The power structure, the culture, the people, all of it fell to ruins, and now those things shamble around the land. It's like fucking Titans, as its new owners, with no purpose
They're
or
fucking
direction.
unclean. I'll kill every last one of them.
Think about it. The Titans eat people too because they think they're Titan shifters, yeah? They want that juice. You can stand next to one if you can stand the stink, and they just slip right past you. If you catch their attention, though, that's it. They move like lightning if they need to, and like a snail unless they have a reason to speed up. Sometimes I think they chase just to do it. Others, they move to kill. Alright, okay, we're almost done here. I think someone is in this facility, or somewhat. Oh my god. Someone's. I keep hearing voices and requests coming from areas under the floor. I want to leave this before I explore the facility any further. I have sent SCP-093 back through the entry mirror to seal that gate. These things can't be let into our world, nor should we have anything to do with this one. We're simply not smart enough to understand it all, I feel. How did the Foundation not have records before this?
Maybe it's another Foundation.
Of this guy.
This is like, maybe this is a similar world to ours, but not actually ours.
I guess. It's the world inside the mirror, as Polnareff would put it.
There's no world.
I don't think the unclean can die. They're immortal, but they don't want to be. They just want to die. They're in my head, I think. I didn't notice it till just now, but equipment in this room starting to react to me. Words on the screen begging for help. I remember touching the tears, smelling it, tasting it, just a touch. Not eating it, just touching to it, tasting for acidity. We have pretty stupid investigative procedures, I think. How did he write in laughter in his fucking... Wait, is this a video before I judge it too much?
Probably it's like transcribed.
Or is this a written report? Okay. Why would they write in the laughter? The High Fathers are alive. I think this is like the case of like back in the day they wanted to make articles more tale-like and didn't know how, and they didn't think about how... like the diary with the accent written in. Yeah, this isn't just an 093 problem. I think people wanted to write things more like tales, but they didn't really know how to do it in an article format with the way things are recorded, and it just ended up a little awkward. So I think that's more of a Series 1 problem than a this article problem. The High Fathers are alive. They have technology we only imagine in our comics given by him. Some of the records on this machine indicate space travel, but they didn't go far, just far enough to watch the world fall apart and wait to come back and take it. But if they're up there... Who was in this building with me? Wait, did they near Automata this shit?
I guess that's Sky Eye Eden, my friend.
I've seen the faces of the people, the unclean. They show up on the pictures cast by the machine, in the room with me, watching me. I think they're everywhere on this world, only seen by machines now. So they're not the big torso monsters, they're like the weird ghosts?
They're both, I think, is the implication.
They don't look sad or happy, just curious. They want to know why. Why them? Why did it all happen? I don't know. I just don't know. They showed me things when I touched them, and it's not quite like the records say. The unclean... Oh, now he's not capitalizing anymore. It's like starting to go into train of thought. The unclean remember it all. Every person they touch becomes part of them, safe inside them, but dead to us. Every mind, every feeling, every terror, it's eternal to them. I kind of want to join them, but too much to do. They want me to find him, kill him. There was no war, it was him. It came from between the folds of time and space and worlds and light and dark, something that is but should not be slipped in and out and called out to them as their god, and they believed it, and they tasted it, and touched it, and laid with it, and became its property, and did its will, and it is still here! The SCP-093 it brought with it, pulled forcefully with it, built it, I don't know, they don't know, but it belongs to him! It lets him move between places, between worlds, so I broke it! I threw pieces of it away and threw holes so those doors are closed, just like ours is closed, and I can't go home, so what else can I do? It calls out through the rock somehow. It knows where they are, but can't touch them. But if you hide the rock, he can't call out, and he's stuck too. I got you, you son of a bitch! I got you! Bang, bang! I touched him with my fist and my gun, and he fell down, but he'll get back up soon. I'm sorry, I did all I could. Let me sleep now, please. Let me sleep.
And
oh my god, we finally fucking finished this thing. So, alright, time for my criticism before I give a review here. So, I think this article, people agree, when you know the lore, yada yada, it's a little bit more interesting. The ending's more interesting. But that's the kind of thing you should be hinting towards and writing throughout the article, not saving as the last minute.
It's a bit of an
This
info
is why you were reading, to get to the part. Yeah. It's like, okay, this could have been spread throughout the article. This could have kept the reader hooked. But no, you have to read 5 tales of... And albeit the last 2 tales pick up a little. But you have to read basically 5 tales of mostly filler text and descriptions before you get to the good stuff, right? The tale itself, its story is like fairly standard, but it's got some interesting twists and ways to view the world that are kind of fun. It's got a couple of Series 1 problems, like the writing the diary or the report, like how people would talk, etc., but whatever. That's fair. It's an older medium. It's a fanfiction wiki. I can't hold it back that much. There are a lot of grammar errors, and honestly, the story structure at times, there's like so much wasted space describing things that isn't really important or necessary. Ultimately, I get why people like this article, and I can imagine if it was one of your first SCPs or you read it when you were younger, I can see why people praise it the way it does. And I do agree, within here, especially at the end, there is an interesting story to be told, but I just think it could have been written so much better. Where it's teased throughout the story. There's more build-up. There's less filler text about describing random bullshit and doors and corridors and colors. The color tinge never even really mattered, to be honest. It never was like we get, based on your guilt, it puts you to an area related to it, Tanhony mentioned, but it was never like, this is why it's blue, this is why it's purple. It's just, okay, it was colored, and the red doesn't have a color. And you're just kind of left there. And normally I would praise that kind of thing as like it lets you think, but I feel like it was kind of just a random touch. To give it a little more flavor or description or whatever. So, considering the story structure, the grammar overall, I think I'm going to have to give this one like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. I feel like in here there is a good story, but I feel like it just could have been so much better delivered instead of making you sit through 3 to 4 stories of bullshit, hook you in a little bit, and then give you the huge lore info dump of everything afterwards. And some of the info even contradicts itself. Like, I get why, because if they mention some things, it spoils it a little bit. But, like, for example, when we learned that the bullshit log, someone could just go through a lake, it should have been listed in the SCP, this works on all reflective surfaces, not just mirrors. Stuff like that, small little details. And I will also admit, maybe I'm being a little overly critical of it, partially because it's so long. But I will say, I think I'm just going to wrap up before I talk myself in circles. I get why people like it. I think there is an interesting story to be had here. I think it would have benefited from being trimmed down, being placed better. Definitely needs some grammar improvements. And I honestly think it might have just been better as a tale than a fucking SCP. You know what I mean? I feel like there was a story here that wanted to be told, and they went through the article format to get to it. But, yeah. I'll give this like a 5 or 6 out of 10. What are your thoughts, Dan?
I probably agree with you. I don't necessarily think it would have to be a tale. That's a bit of a difference in opinion there. I think just some cleaning up would work as... Well, it does work as an SCP. I won't say it doesn't work, because obviously a lot of people do like it. But it's not my favourite, I have to admit. It's not my favourite.
And with that, we're finally done. And we can get back to the good SCP... No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I will say... I know when someone like I'm not gonna regret my opinion. This is the same shit I did with Bright. I'm not gonna like every article we read on the wiki. I'm gonna have my opinions, but I will say I appreciate those of you. I feel like this time, I don't know if it was because I complained about the Bright reactions last time, but I feel like people were a lot nicer this time, a lot better about it. I know it's not fun when you like something to hear someone shit on it, But I'm glad you guys understand. It's not a personal vendetta against you guys or the author, Neko Chris. I know I made like a dumb joke about it earlier, but nothing against him. I'm sure he's a great guy, and I'm sure he's a great writer. This was like forever ago. But I'm glad. I feel like people took it pretty well. Because like I said, I know it's not fun to sit and listen for like over an hour. Someone be like, oh, this thing you like sucks or whatever. But I don't know. I just wanted to give my thoughts. I don't ever want to lie. I feel like once, I didn't really lie, but I was like very lenient on my opinion once because I thought there would be way more backlash, and I haven't returned to that since because it made me feel dumb. That was with the Flesh That Hates. I think I was a little too kind with the rating. We didn't even finish, and I did not like that one. But I want to be able to speak my mind. That's kind of the point of this. But anyway, thank you guys for listening and sticking around. And we have some comments to read, yeah?
So I was going to say, Miguel Galida, we will read one of your comments because you've been so fucking better.
I don't even want to read any of them. It's like I don't want to say punishment. That makes us sound cocky. But like, don't leave fucking 15 comments on a video. Holy shit, dude. I'm glad you're excited. But like, don't do that. We have to read other people's comments.
The steam coming from his ears.
It's annoying. And there are a little bit. I'm like, hey, dude.
He's like soning his fists on the desk.
People did this before when they just wrote like 3 or 4 comments, and we were like, hey, could you chill a little bit because we want to be able to read everyone's. And this guy left fucking 15 or some shit. Something insane. Obviously, you don't mean any harm. I'm glad you're invested, but like...
He's smashing his walls. He's like...
Tanhony, if you want, I will read one of the comments, but I don't know which one to pick because it's kind of just one giant 100 spat of 4 comment spread into 15. All right, you pick the Miguel one, and I'll read
God has abandoned us.
Where's that?
Sit down.
Good times. All right. Now, Boris WW. I actually kind of enjoy the original idea for 093. That it's something that the Foundation doesn't even know what it does, just how to contain it. Many articles do it, and it usually gives a nice spook factor. The exploration logs are nothing special, but they are pioneers of long-form articles on the wiki, and they are not bad if you give them a chance. I vote to finish. You're going to be disappointed in my reaction.
I love democracy. I love the Republic.
Chris Carlson says, yeah, this SCP is kind of boring, but important to the wiki. And I think you'll enjoy it better when you inevitably read the Lord Blackwood tale about this SCP. I'm guessing that's part 2. No. Well,
maybe so. I don't know. I've never read it, but that might actually be more enjoyable because we liked the Lord Blackwood tale we read already.
Mm-hmm. Might I suggest SCP-245? It is the in-universe first SCP contained by Dr. Jeremiah Cimmerian, who would later go on to lead the Ethics Committee, and is one of my favorite characters in the SCP universe. And I found you guys by listening to Tony's interview he did with the author of Dr. Cimmerian on YouTube. So why haven't you had him on your show yet, lol? Tan, would you like to answer that?
Next week we've got a special guest.
It's not Cimmerian.
Next comment.
Wait, are you going to contact Cimmerian? I asked you about that before, and you were just like... You told... Okay.
I work for a living. I've got many concerns, Darnell. I can't just be PMing people. Ridiculous.
Shut up. Graphically says, I think you should continue 093. Darnell, you will definitely enjoy the later half of it. However, I'm not sure if it will bring you back around to it if you haven't enjoyed it already. Because this comment will be read after the video, I will be curious to see if I am right with this prediction, smile. For Tanhony, have you written more of A, SCP Tales draft / workshopped ideas that have never seen the light of day in any forum, or B, SCP / Tales that have made
I've written a few SCP / Tales that have made it onto the wiki.
No, he's saying, are there more articles you've written that you didn't put up, or more that you have, out of all the article ideas you've had? Definitely B. That's what I figured, because you seem like the kind of guy who, like, it goes in your brain, and then it comes out, and then you put it out there. You don't seem like the kind of guy who hesitates with that, you know? Which I respect.
Hesitation is death.
For Darnell, have you done any writing of your own, and if so, where can we find it? Yes, plenty, and no, I don't want anyone to see it, God, no. Because most of it's role-play writing, which is, a very awkward thing for other people to read that are not role-playing. I've written a couple short stories and poems when I was a kid, but those, and like growing up occasionally, but those are not published. Most of my stuff is role-playing stuff. I will say Tanhony has been my player. He can speak, and maybe he'll just insult me here, but I like to think I'm a pretty good role-player / DM. A lot of my players like it, but it's not the kind of writing that you really want to read. And when it comes to like forum and server role-play, oh god, you definitely don't want that. Yeah, trust me, you don't want to see that shit. But Tanhony, I don't know. What do you think of my writing skill?
I enjoyed
you as a professional author yourself.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Let's see. Mystery Guy says week 4 of asking for them to cover SCP-3001.
Get ready
This
for
is not
week
the only person who's
5.
asked this one. Oh, yeah, because we're not doing it next week, but is that something we'll eventually cover? Because other
Probably.
people on our server mentioned that before, I think.
I think White Guard said
Comedy
you'd want
Man-
to be here for that.
Who?
White Guard.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Comedy Man Kelp says, the alternate world that people visit through the 093 mirrors is actually the world if I didn't comment on every video. Which I said, it all makes sense now.
Banker Paul.
Thanks for saving us from that fate. Yeah.
Banker Paul says, you've been
reading?
absolved. Great job, Tanhony. Thank you.
I knew it had to do with reading this SCP in some way. White Guard says, I vote to finish SCP-093. To Darnell, even if you don't like it now, I feel like it might redeem itself a little. Regardless, something interesting about SCP-093 is that it is more or less the predecessor to modern long-form story writing we see in articles today, and it was one of the first big rewrites on the site, something we have a whole staff team dedicated to nowadays. I would also say that even if you end up disliking the rest of the article, it would probably be a SCP-682 deal for you where the tales surrounded it and based on it are spectacular. I would believe that, because like I said, I feel like there is a cool story buried in here. And people have mentioned like the Blackwood tale or whatever too. I do believe that there's probably definitely some cool stuff around it. Either way, you like what you like, Darnell. Don't let us tell you how to feel about an article, even if you were totally wrong, lol.
Oh.
And this is something I mentioned earlier while Tanhony was gone. I get this argument, and I would still agree with you. This is probably an important part of history for the wiki, so I get it. I want to touch this a little bit with kid gloves as an outsider, but at the same time, modern long-form story writing is in every writing community. It would have come eventually if 093 didn't exist. This is not the reason long articles exist, but I can see how it might have inspired people in the earlier days, so I will give that, I will respect that. And then he asks, to Tanhony, the amount of stuff you write in a short amount of time frightens me.
What's the question? You said he asked me.
I thought it was going to be a question.
Ask me
Sorry.
a question. I'm ready for a question. My friend.
The amount of stuff you write in a short amount of time frightens me?
Yes.
Dino Tales. Hey guys, he didn't even fucking say our names or some alternative. He just said, hey guys, this time. So menacing. My SCP recommendations are SCP-4001, Alexandria Eternal, SCP-4307, Electromarine Praetorian, and SCP-4240, The Roundabout Game. The last one sounds like a fucking creepypasta ritual.
Yeah, it sounds like shit.
2. My theme recommendation is the Oneroy Collective. 3. 5230. The power in that yes. What was in 5230?
I assume I said yes, or you said yes.
Yeah, I said yes. I don't remember what for. I just shouted yes. 4. Gotta say this episode was kind of disappointing, frowny face.
Get ready to
5.
cry.
The statement above is a lie! All your episodes are thumbs
Get
up!
to live!
That was pretty good. Maria J. Bayari says, is nobody going to talk about the 9 comment? This was before he posted more. The same guy has posted. Seriously, they currently fill more than half of the comments section. And then Brandon Hamilton says, boosting algorithm. Haha, wee!
Nice. Loyal viewer.
Quaker Button knows one. Yeah, we respect Hamilton. Quaker Button Nose 128 says, if it doesn't add to the article, it subtracts. I read that in an essay about coming up with ideas for SCPs the other day, and I think it really encapsulates the problem with 093 so far. There's just so much extra detail that... Exactly! That doesn't need to be there. Exactly. I am of the mind... I don't think something needs to be as short as possible, but I'm of the mind that every sentence should have a mission. Even if it seems like something in fluff in a story, like just casual conversation between characters, it has the mission of developing their personalities in the interactions between them. Every sentence should have purpose. We don't need to know about there were doors on the left and doors on the right. The doors were blue. Oh, but we only went on the door at the end. And what the fuck? Like, you could just say hallway filled with doors and then move on. You don't need to go over all the little details. Every sentence should have a fucking mission. That is my opinion. That is my writing advice that I give to all writers out there. Now, that doesn't mean you need to obsess over if your sentence has enough information, but, like, don't include shit that doesn't really add anything. Unless you're fucking Tolkien, then you can pull that off. Any comment on that,
I
Tim?
agree with you. It is exactly. It's.
Oh, nice.
There needs to be an economy of words.
Jacob... Yes. Jacob Cooper says, spoiler alert for anyone who did not watch the episode. If 093 was too boring for you, although I like that SCP, I think you should finish it to enjoy it fully, but that's your opinion. Might I suggest 4731? It is long but good in my opinion. I don't know. What's up to Dan?
Maybe.
What's
I
4731?
remember, but
Oh, sorry, he meant 4730.
I also don't
not
remember what that one is.
I swear I wasn't doing that for effect. I forgot about that reply until I opened it. And then lastly, AnAnomalousWriter says, Tanhony threat,
what were you about to say?
Viewers
What were you about to say?
Nice.
What was he about to say?
Viewers, it's fine. Nothing.
Anomalous.
Smile.
You're going to be repurposed.
You cannot do that. He's the one who edits this. Remember that before you say things you'll regret.
He only needs an eye and a hand to edit.
He's like Odin.
See him in my office.
I lost my eye in the Tanhony angering incident of 21.
And with that, we've reached the end of our journey. The final episode of Discovering SCP. No, it's not.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a surprise, but in the server and in this, we've revealed that we will have a guest on next episode. It's someone who's already been on.
That's right.
We're going to do something Tanhony really likes.
Boris.
So hopefully you guys have a good time. Boris?
No, it's not Boris.
Boris comes in just to shit talk.
Imagine Boris is very surprised to hear this. I'm sorry, Boris, it's not you.
Thank you guys for watching. You guys are real troopers. Read Aetheril Space. Watch Good Morning Poon Poon. Anything else?
Read Aetheril Space again.
Follow Tanhony on Twitter because I'm too lazy to update the Discovering SCP Twitter, and he tweets like every 2 seconds at work.
I don't. I do know. I work hard.
So go follow him at Anthony Shack. What's your at on Twitter?
Anthony Shacklad.
Anthony Shacklet. Go follow him. It's been a ball, y'all, but the clock on the wall turned out to be the winner after all. You know what I'm saying?
It's our longest episode yet. It's not.
It's actually.
I don't know why. I just say these things. I just lie.
It is. If we end it soon, it'll be 100 minutes. So, bye.
Bye. Means a lot of CP.